pitchers duel yesterday, and for the second time, it feels like in, a week, the Rangers cobbled together like 3 hits or whatever, and they were still able to win the game. So I'm not hating on that. deGrom was outstanding, and he was outstanding in terms of, it was funny, you said something, I hope I'm not misconstruing what you said earlier, Corey, that he wasn't necessarily like dominant, but you're just impressed. This is the first time in 4 years he's got through 8 innings.
Yeah, there were Evan Carter's amazing catch out in center field. And yes, Mike and Dave Raymond did prove me wrong about the Rangers defense yesterday. Good job, boys. But Evan Carter's amazing flash of leather out there saved a double. Adolis's sliding catch. Adolis played fantastic out in the outfield yesterday. Wyatt Langford had to travel deep into the outfield for a fly ball. And there were moments where you could see on deGrom's face, it was like, man, I'm glad my defense is playing for me today. And you got to trust them. You know, you do have to trust your defense, and you don't have to do it all on your own. But deGrom looked like, hey, I'm going to rely a lot on some off-speed pitches throughout this game, and then when I need to heat it up, I will. But it was one of those where, when I say dominant for him, 15 strikeouts, 12 strikeouts. I
got you.
And the amount of strikeouts he had was fine. But he relied on his defense last night, which is what he's going to have to do throughout the regular season. When we get to the playoffs, he still will hope that Crystal defense is there behind him, but we're going to want you to step it up just a little more, and he knows that.
I will say, I felt better about this game than the Colorado game where you were getting no hit until the Wyatt Langford home run, because you were going up against a bona fide stud pitcher this year.
It's fun to watch too, man.
Yeah, and I know Hunter Brown took the loss, got a complete game. He pitched outstandingly. He doesn't go into the clubhouse and he's like, sorry I let you down. He might feel that way, but he has no need to feel that way. He looked tremendous, and I felt okay about getting shut down by him versus about a week ago in the Colorado pitcher you ran into problems with, had like a 7.7 ERA going into the game.
Yeah, and there was one point, Kevin, last night where Mike said that Hunter Brown had thrown more practice pitches than he had actual pitches in the game. I think it was in the 5th inning. He was like, he had like 35 pitches in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's thrown more practice pitches. He's worked harder warming up than he has actually throwing against the Rangers. And again, they still did a pretty decent job of working and trying to get good counts against him. But Hunter Brown was throwing strikes last night and putting them in a tough position. So he's interesting to watch. I'm glad we were able to come away with the win against him, because starting the Silver Boot series that way, and then, Kevin, you and I were talking about this yesterday. Hey, keep this trend up as you're going into the Yankees, and as you got the White Sox coming up. You could find yourself back at the top of this division pretty quickly.
Okay, you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because I promise I understand that that's important. Just at this point in the season, I don't care as much about the jump from 4th to 2nd. And you're right behind the Mariners, who we talked about this yesterday. The Mariners have really, really been struggling. I like it because you have the opportunity, depending on how the rest of the series goes, depending on how the Yankees series goes, to say, hey, we really play quality baseball against 3 out of 4 teams that were really, really good. I'll never give credit to the Rockies, but that is encouraging if you can continue to win against good teams.
Yeah, definitely gaining confidence. Hey, win against bad teams is good too.
For sure, you have to.
Gaining that confidence is important. The reason I want to get up to the top is I don't want to be chasing for the rest of the season and wear yourself out chasing. Get to the top of that thing. Start having people chase you, because it puts pressure on them. And I think that's where the Rangers are at their best, is whenever people are chasing them down.
And don't you feel like it would be really nice if you could dispose of the A's or the Astros along the way?
Yes.
It's
1,000%.
Early, and maybe the Angels are like, oh, we could still do this. Well, you can't. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Angels, they're done. Better luck next year, but you had the 2 best players in baseball.
Maybe Mike Trout will be healthy next year.
Yeah, and you still didn't make the playoffs then. So, I don't know. Find a different strategy. But it would be nice if you could cast off another team, and then it kind of got down to like a 3-team race. Then maybe by the time you got to the halfway point, you were one of the 2 teams in a 2-team race, perhaps with Seattle. To your point, I would like that a lot better than having to be like, well, what did this team do today? What did this team do today? Now, the reason why I brought up the rivalry.
And by the way, real quick.
Yeah.
give Houston credit defensively last night too. They were sparkling as well. And so this is a fantastic matchup for baseball fans, especially when this rivalry has been as good as it's been over the last 10 years?
Probably.
Yeah.
Did you see how long the game was?
It felt short. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. It was 2 hours and 1 minute.
Oh, if we can get that down to an hour and a half.
Hey, why not?
You and Manfred are
that's good pitching. That's quality pitching right there. Not a lot of runners on, not a lot of goofing around. The starters go deep into the game. That's what a really good pitching duel does for you in these games.
And we asked about the rivalry, and from the 214, absolutely no rivalry has been hotter in recent years than Rangers versus the Astros. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that a little bit more is, this is rivalry weekend for MLB. So this is
I did not know this.
Yeah, this is their Auburn, Alabama weekend. Actually, Carter's probably cringing because he's like, I could tell you 73 other rivalries. That's fair. But under most heated rivalries for ESPN, number one on the list, it is the Astros and the Rangers.
Really?
That is the top one on their list. And
right now?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, Cubs and Cardinals was one for a long time.
Or
this is more rivalry, though, in state or near. Okay, I gotcha.
Because you're getting St. Louis and Kansas City.
Tampa Bay and Miami.
Chicago. Yeah, exactly. And so it is not the Yankees, Red Sox of it all. And it says, this is one of those old intrastate civic rivalries that bubbled in the minors, the Texas League in this case, for decades, and grew slowly at the big league level once interleague play began. And it really took off, Corey, a little bit more than a decade ago when the Astros joined the Rangers in the AL West. It has a name, the Silver Boot Series, and plenty of bad feelings on the field. Look, I always think of Adolis when it comes to this. I know there's more to it, but him just breaking the will of Houston.
Keep describing that.
Yeah, it felt like in one moment, he broke the will of Houston and made us all more excited than anything in the world. And then
he looked so happy doing it, too.
He did.
And we were all happy with him doing it.
Look, last night during
those Astro fans and their space helmets.
So last night during the Winnipeg game, they had plenty of people doing bits, from Colonel Sanders to the Bakers to other stuff. I was really hoping that we would end that series with me screenshotting those people and being like, what have you done with your life? Because what I think about when the Astros come up is those two dorks sitting in the stands in their NASA uniforms.
I have that picture
looking as sad as can be. Now, I get it. If they would have won, everyone would have wanted to party with the spacemen. But you didn't. You got freaking embarrassed. And you're sitting there like chumps, being like, oh, we got a problem. I wonder how many times they said that to each other during the thing. And so Houston and Texas being
I still have that picture saved.
It's hilarious. And I remember the Whataburger thing right behind it. Is those two looking sad and this being the top rivalry of Rivalry Weekend. I just think it's really cool because sometimes we talk about the Rangers' struggle for national acceptance.
Yeah.
Well, the game's on Apple TV tonight. It's Rivalry Weekend, and ESPN's like, this is the best one.
So I take this back. It really caught fire with the Bannister AJ Hinch battle.
I could see
when those two went at it, in the middle of the field. I was like, oh, this is really good. And thank you, Jeff Bannister, for doing that, honestly, because that really did incite this series and grow it into what it's become, because I think the hatred got a little more that night. And you could see Bannister was one of those managers, too, that he loved going into a game with animosity. He loved that feeling amongst what was going on of hey, it's us against them. He really enjoyed that, which is why he supported Beltre so much. He loved Beltre because he knew that's my lead dog. But then was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago during the World Series run, it was the Marcus Semien stomp. That Marcus Semien stomp on the plate brought that back because the Astros had it for a stretch of time. They were good, and the Rangers weren't. And so we were like, man, we got to get back to it. And finally we were. And the Astros were like, no, you're little brother still. And the Rangers were like, no, we're not. We're about to win a World Series. Just wait. And then that thing set up for the ALCS, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we did a whole thing on, was it game 5 or game 6? Game 5.
Game 5.
We did a whole thing on that.
Crushed my spirit.
That whole,
Yeah.
and then it was, that series was a tier on the cake of what this whole thing has been. So yes, Kevin, every time now I get more heated about the Astros than any other team. I love it.
And man, somebody brought this up.
Yeah, the whole Corey Seager, we'll never know.
The thing I'll never forget about that, though, but that was a great moment. Oh, they said, what happens if we don't win the World Series? I guess we'll never know. I will always remember that in the parade, but what I will really remember about that line is Jared Sandler going Cooper Flag out there and firing up his 3-foot vertical and being like, yeah!
He jumped like 5-6 feet at that point.
It was unbelievable. Amazing. He wanted to run up on the stage and bear hug Corey Seager, and I would have supported it. And he was so happy, it made me happy as well.
Yeah, that was a pretty special moment.
Couple of other notes coming out of that game. Bruce Bochy now surpasses Sparky Anderson, 2,195 wins. That is the 6th most ever in the history of Major League Baseball as a manager. And then the other thing that is really impressive, and we talked about this team a day or two ago, the Rangers still have the 2nd longest winning streak in baseball, behind only the Twins. The Twins also won again. Now, I know they're not in your division, but they've won 11 in a row.
Crap. We're never going to catch them.
Okay, well, you actually are only half a game back of the Twins, like if you wanted to measure their record side by side.
But that's 11.
I know that's
in a row.
You don't think we can win 11 in a row?
I'm not sure yet.
That's not the Corey I know.
What did I tell you yesterday? I need 18. 18 in a row is what I'm shooting for here.
Okay. And if we go like 16-2, you're going to be like, meh.
I'll be disappointed.
Okay, man.
18 in a row.
Okay.
This year,
please,
if they give
Texas
me an 18-game win streak, you will make me the happiest boy.
Alec, your thoughts?
I like to think when I watch baseball, I'm still a little kid.
Huh. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and take a step out and say they're 6-0 in their last 6. If they go 10-2 from here, I know you'll be disappointed. I'll be super pumped. Please, Rangers, do that. Go 10-2.
Who are you losing those two to?
Here. Aaron Judge hits a total of 7 home runs in the 2 games you lose.
Off our pitching?
Yeah.
Off our starting pitching? What are you doing right now, dude? That's just insane talk. That is insanity.
Because it'll be the bullpen, because we're still working on getting them all back. Now, I know they've all avoided major injury, but I'm still a little concerned.
I got you.
How is 10-2 being a hater?